I'm gonna tell you right now. This is from her father. Your bunch of lying no good punks, and I know who it's coming from because I've traced it, and you've been reported to cyber police because I've traced it. Consequences will never be the same because I've traced it, and you've been reported to cyber police because I've traced it. You'll be arrested. End of conversation. Well, guess what? My daughter's not lying, and I'm not going to put up with any of you people's crap. If you ain't got something nice to say about my daughter, then keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. And any more of your comments and put it on there will be caught and will be bound. You will have to deal with the police, cause you done goofed. Cause you done goofed. Because I've traced it, and you've been reported to the cyber police because I've traced it. Consequences will never be the same because I've traced it, and you've been reported to the cyber police because I've traced it. You'll be arrested. End of conversation.
What up, y'all? Your boy Blew Up on here. What up, whoever's watching? I'm out here with Moo Moo Kitty. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. What up, Cyrus? I've been up all night trying to raise money for my meds today. How you doing? You just getting up for work? You're working right now, yeah? Been at work since 7 last night. Damn. I didn't know you worked the night shift. Oh, it's chilly out there.
Day shift is over, time for the real workers.
18-year-old Kyle McElroy is among the most promising young citizens of the small town of Troop, Texas. He works for his father, Kevin, who owns a plastics factory. Kevin turns the reins of the business over to Kyle. Despite his youth, he has proven himself to be an adept supervisor of the night shift.
You can give me 12 cars, man, hold me in place.
Together, father and son have made the McElroy Plastics Company a booming success. Friday, March 10th, 9:20 a.m.
We have to wear plastic. Who is this? Sarah who?
Marty came in and told me that, asked me if I knew about Sarah. And I said, well, what company does she work for? She said she wouldn't tell me that.
Isn't that the way how they help you?
Take a 110 south, you'll find a truck there. Look in the truck for further instructions. Do not call the police. We are watching you.
I'm not really in the mood for this right now. I'm thinking, it's maybe a joke. That's not fun. And I'm really not believing what I'm hearing. Put him on the phone. So she put Kyle on the phone just for maybe 5 seconds or so.
The last time Kyle had been seen was at the end of his work shift the previous night. Kevin was now certain the mysterious Sarah was dead serious. Kevin McElroy had only moments to decide what course of action to take. Despite the kidnapper's warning, he contacted the Troop, Texas Police Department. The officers were determined to keep their involvement a secret from Kyle's abductors. Following Sarah's orders, Kevin set out to retrieve a written instruction from Kyle's abandoned truck. As a precaution, Kevin allowed a Troop, Texas police officer to follow him discreetly. The officer, posing as a rancher, would stop further along the road and observe Kevin from a distance. Both men knew they had to expect the unexpected. The truck was locked, and Kevin had no keys.
The first thing I was thinking is, are we dealing with a bunch of terrorists or what if, while I'm trying to get in the pickup, it blows up?
The ransom note was just where Sarah said it would be.
The letter said that they were asking for $200,000 in $100 bills, and that I had 7 hours to come up with the money and then go back to my office, and that's when they would call me and tell me what.
With 6.5 hours remaining until the kidnapper's deadline, Kevin arrived at a prearranged staging area to meet with the authorities. The FBI was now in charge of the case.
There's nothing in that note that tells us where Kyle was, where to deliver the money, or what means Kyle will be released. So we knew the abductors had to contact Mr. McElroy again.
I would have.
So I sent 2 agents with him.
For the plan to work, FBI agents had to be present at Kevin's factory when the kidnappers phoned again. But they had to do so under conditions of absolute secrecy. All of Kevin's employees were sent home under the pretense of a major mechanical breakdown at the plant. 4 p.m. The way was now clear for the FBI to move in. By this time, Kevin had collected only half and had $200,000.
Very.
The next move belonged to the kidnappers. 6:30 p.m.
Have the money.
We have most of it.
What do you mean most of the money?
I can't get the whole 200. It's Friday. The banks don't have it.
The FBI worked furiously to trace the call.
You don't have any more.
The FBI asked me to stall her. I said, "You're gonna get your money." I said, "But I want to talk to Kyle, and I want to make sure he's all right." She said, "He's fine." She said, "You're not gonna get to talk to him."
Take the money back.
Sarah instructed Kevin to drive to a payphone outside a local restaurant. There he would find a note directing him what to do next.
Go alone and
The
do.
call was traced to a rural phone booth. By the time the FBI got there, Sarah had vanished. The only course of action now was to follow her orders and take every precaution possible.
With the remarkably delicious taste and friendly ingredients, Hello Toothpaste makes every day yay.
Come down with cancer when I was 69, and the people here give me the willpower to keep going.
At Radiation Business Solutions, we allow the physicians to focus solely on the patient. So ceasefire, I have one partner I can call for all my IT needs.
At the end of the day, we're handing people's lives back to them.
They're above and beyond. I don't know.
7:15 p.m.
I didn't see a nose or I was kind of expecting a little brown envelope like the rest of it. And so I was picking through all the trash. I thought, well, maybe there's something in this trash, maybe on the candy wrapper. So, I went through it, and at the very bottom of that pile was a note.
The note ordered Kevin to deliver the ransom money to a laundromat a half a mile away. He would then receive another call at his office, informing him where he could find Kyle. The FBI rapidly deployed a SWAT team near the back of the laundromat.
We got 360 degree view. There's no movement at this time.
When Kevin drove up to the laundromat to drop off the ransom money, there was a lot of tension. Anytime someone's life is on the line, there's a lot of tension. You want to get this done and find the victim as soon as possible.
One hour passed.
Two suspects approaching from the north. Beanie caps, blue sweatshirts, blue jeans. They're looking around. Going for the money. Got the money. They go.
One of the men arrested was an employee of the McElroy Plastics Company, a friend of Kyle's, Victor Fernandez. The FBI learned his real name was Daniel Rios. Two alleged accomplices were also arrested, but the woman who called herself Sarah was nowhere to be found. The following day, the suspects told the FBI Kyle could be found on an abandoned farm outside of town. Kevin waited anxiously as agents went in search of his son.
It was late in the evening. They asked me if they could speak to me. They had some information for me. And I could tell by the looks on their face that it wasn't good. And said that he was dead. They found him dead. It's like somebody walking up and hit you, but you can't feel it. You think about it and it just makes you mad.
The medical examiner determined Kyle had been choked to death before the first ransom call was ever made. The FBI believes his abductors made a recording of Kyle, then killed him. Sarah then played the tape for Kevin over the phone. They say they learned that Sarah was in fact Desiree Dawn Lingo Perkins. The FBI believes she was a prostitute known to frequent migrant worker camps in the area. She is now wanted for murder. She is 5'6" and weight fluctuates between 170 and 200 pounds. May 1970. In a small Texas town, a fragile child clutched her only friend and waited patiently. Her family was on the move again, a routine that had become all too familiar. It was the 8th move to 5 different states in Monica LeBeau's young life. Eventually, she would move a total of 28 times in 15 years.
I came home from school you know, and there would be boxes everywhere. And I knew it was time to go again.
Monica's parents, Pablo and Burma LeBeau, were older. Her two half-sisters grown and never around. However, the lonely little girl didn't question her family's nomadic lifestyle, or why she was always kept home from school on her class picture days. Monica simply learned to fend for herself, but it wasn't easy.
I get kind of angry because by the time I made friends, we were up and gone again. So that was kind of hard.
Then at age 16, when most teens are thinking about boys in the latest fashion rate, Monica's life was turned upside down.
My mother got ill, and I had to transfer my mother's medical papers to where she was in the hospital. And I was reading through my mom's folder, and I read some words that just probably changed my life. And that's when I found out that my mother had a total hysterectomy in 1945. There's no way I could have belonged to her.
Imagine finding out your mother had a hysterectomy nearly 2 decades before you were born. But she couldn't possibly have been your mother. For 16 years, you'd been lied to. If Burma LeBeau wasn't Monica's mother, then who was? The search for that answer has consumed Monica's life, leading her into an incredibly tangled web of lies, half-truths, and innuendos. What makes the story even more disturbing, however, is where it all may lead to an unthinkable crime.
Don't be concerned with this.
I asked my mother, I said, if you're not my mother, I want to know who is my mother. And she got mad, but she told me that my mother was a family member. My sister.
She had a child, she couldn't take care of it. Why didn't you tell me?
I was shocked. And that was probably the worst shock of my life.
She said it was you. Is that true?
It was true that Monica's half-sister was much older, 19 years in fact. But could she really be her mother?
I asked her straight out if she was my mother. And she said, no, I'm not your mother. She said, well, Mom just doesn't want to face the truth. And I said, well, what is the truth? And my sister told me that my real mother sold me for a bus ticket to New York. And that she was trash and no good, and I didn't need to know her anyway.
She gave you to your mom.
Had Monica really been sold for the price of the bus ticket? Or was this simply another bizarre story about her birth mother? Monica didn't know who to trust or who to believe. Again, she hunted her parents to tell her the truth.
The more I asked, the more they wouldn't tell me anything. And I started wondering at that point, maybe something bad happened.
Monica was now convinced her parents had something to hide. She began snooping around the house in search of anything in her past, and soon ran across a sturdy metal box. Inside was the very document Monica had hoped to find, her birth certificate. But the details seemed sketchy. There was no hospital listed, no address, no doctor. And the document had not been found until the early 1970s, when Monica was 7 years old. She had no place to turn for help. One of her half-sisters.
She said, your mom and dad paid a lawyer $2,000 to make this false birth certificate.
Was Monica's whole life a fraud? It now made sense why, growing up, she never had her own social security number, but used her father's instead. Chicago was listed as Monica's place of birth. And in 1990, at age 26, she contacted Illinois Judge Gene Scott in hopes of finding an adoption record. Judge Scott answered her in a letter.
She told me that she could not find anything from the years 62, 63, 64. That she had searched all the records that they had there.
Chicago would turn into another dead end. Sadly, it all seemed like a bad soap opera. Monica thrust into the lead role. For the next decade, Monica was haunted by the strange and conflicting stories surrounding her past. Still, she managed to get on with her life, marry, and have a daughter of her own.
Well, I need to know who I am. And I think it's important for my daughter to know that too.
During a rare family get-together, Monica decided to try one last time to find out the truth.
My mom, at that point, was just angry, very angry. She started getting mad, and my sister, they just kind of looked at each other.
According to Monica, her half-sister suddenly became irate. She began ranting about how nearly 4 decades earlier her mother had hidden a tiny baby from the police.
I have to tell the police. That line now.
Monica was stunned. Flooding back. She remembered as a teenager overhearing her father talk about stashing a cardboard box in a bar, something about roadblocks, and the need to tell the truth. A picture began to emerge that was both ugly and sinister.
The indication that I got from the whole thing is that my mother had probably kidnapped me. I really started thinking, my God, had they just up and take me or something?
To this day, that question and others remain unanswered. Was Monica abducted as an infant? An appalling crime that forced Pablo and Bernal Rabeau to stay one step ahead of the law? Was a tiny baby sold by a desperate young girl for the price of a bus ticket? Or is Monica's half-sister not her sister at all, but her mother?
I would be willing to go through anything, the DNA test, anything at all, to be able to find out the truth behind all this.
If Monica's half-sister agreed to be tested, It will answer at least one of these puzzling questions. However, according to relatives, she recently left her husband of 25 years and simply disappeared. On another side, Monica's own husband passed away in 1998. He was only 31 years old. That tragic loss has only deepened Monica's resolve to find her birth mother.
I'm without an identity, and I'm searching, and I'm probably going to keep searching. I'm not going to give up.
Monica was born with only half an earlobe on her left ear, a clue that may help unravel this mystery. And if Monica was indeed kidnapped, she believes it happened in the Miami, Florida area in 1963 or 1964. Previously, we brought you the story of the fear that gripped Texas A&M University when police thought that a serial rapist was on the loose. Now that a suspect is behind bars, the residents of a small college town can finally feel more secure. The rapist hid his intentions behind a show of normalcy. He looked like just another student out for an evening jog. But as he turned to go back toward his intended victim, his casual demeanor turned violent.
The suspect kept that knife within her sight, and she had every indication at that point that he would use that knife on her.
30 minutes later, the rapist disappeared into the shadows. University police released a composite sketch and character profile of the suspect.
Can I help you?
We just busted the water main.
Did you just think about a broken water main to the avocados from Mexico, Jacob?
Yes.
Well, you know how they make everything better.
It tastes good and good for you. And
Oh, guacamole.
I mashed it myself.
You know, I like the water shooting up. Yes.
Ta-da!
Avocados from Mexico.
Several months later, a knife-wielding assailant attacked another Texas A&M student.
From nowhere, she said, a knife appeared and was placed against her throat. And he told her that if she screamed, he was going to kill her, and then took her to the location that he had already prepared.
This composite was based on the second victim's description. The comparison with the first drawing bolstered investigators' suspicions that a serial rapist was stalking the campus. Authorities papered the campus community with posters, but the rapes went unsolved for 10 months. The critical break in the case came from the first victim herself, when she happened to stop for groceries at a local market.
Howdy, how you doing?
The young woman was convinced that she was face to face with a man who raped her.
You drink. You forgot something.
Police would soon learn that the clerk was named Don Richard Davis Jr. He was scheduled to graduate from Texas A&M in 3 weeks. When this photograph of Davis was shown to the second victim, she too identified him as the rapist. DNA tests confirmed the identification with 90% certainty. Don Richard Davis Jr. was charged with aggravated sexual assault and released on bail. 6 days later, Davis disappeared. For the next 5 years, police had a fugitive case on their hands. In October of 2000, a routine traffic violation in Cleveland would be the beginning of the end for Davis.
Don Davis got stopped on a traffic stop one day, and when they rolled his fingerprints at that point in time, that's when it connected up as a hit with Don Davis, and then that information just kind of mushroomed from there.
Davis was brought back to Texas to stand trial in the rapes of the 2 women. But before his trial began, he pled guilty to the charges. The jury heard testimony to determine his sentence. Don Richard Davis will serve 99 years in prison, pending his appeal.
With the conviction of Mr. Davis, justice has been served, and I know for a fact that the 2 victims that we had are extremely relieved. They feel better, and I think they probably sleeping a lot better because Mr. Davis will no longer be out on the streets.
On a previous broadcast, we brought you the story of Laurie DeLorme Magnan. At the age of 3, Laurie was adopted under mysterious circumstances by a family in Kansas City, Missouri. The reason for her adoption was kept secret by all parties involved. Laurie had no idea what happened to her birth parents, or her brother and 3 sisters. As she grew older, Laurie searched for her family, only discovered that her mother, Frances Camarena, died on November 27, 1956. Along with her husband and son, Laurie decided to look at the Kansas City Star on the day of her mother's death. Staring back at her from the front page was a 14-month-old Laurie surrounded by her 4 siblings.
That's when I first time saw a picture of me and my brother and my sisters.
The accompanying article finally revealed a dark, violent secret in Laurie's past. In the pre-dawn hours of November 26, 1956, Laurie's father, Alexander Camarena, murdered Laurie's mother. Laurie learned that her father was convicted of second-degree murder and died in 1991. Her efforts to find her older sisters, Phyllis, Rosemary, and Nancy, and her younger brother, Robert, have failed.
My real brother and sisters. We lost both our parents now. And I think they need me like I need them.
Shortly after our broadcast, Ruth Crook, Laurie's birth cousin, contacted our telecenter. A friend of Ruth's had seen the show and told her that her long-lost cousin was looking for her birth family.
It was a happy shock and very exciting that she had been found because everyone always wondered what happened to the children.
My dreams are coming true.
3 weeks later, Laurie found herself at her adopted sister's house outside of Kansas City, eagerly awaiting the arrival of the relatives she spent her entire life searching for. First out of the car was Laurie's older sister, Rosemary.
This was just looking at her. I just couldn't believe it. And we were both crying and it just felt good to hold her. We just held each other. So happy you're here.
And I was just shaking when I got out of the car. Yeah, just nervous and happy, very joyful.
Soon Lori was surrounded by aunts, uncles, and cousins she never even knew she had. As her birth family and adopted family became acquainted, Lori's circle of loved ones grew larger than she could have ever imagined.
Brother Doral, this is Rose. I go surrounded by love. I go really great. I have all these pictures. Me when I was a baby, I've never seen.
And for the first time, Lori got to see a picture of her mother.
Beautiful.
The elder sister, Phyllis, was unable to attend the reunion. But she and Lori met each other shortly after the rest of the family reunited. Sadly, Lori's younger brother, Robert, seen as an infant in the news photo, died in 1982. After our original broadcast, Lori finally located the last sibling, Nancy. Nancy and Lori have spoken on numerous occasions and hope to have another reunion in the near future.
Dear God, thank you for bringing together this wonderful family.
We especially thank you. Now that we're all back together, that we have each other now, we'll go ride each other, call each other, visit each other. Nothing will keep us apart. Everybody's just all excited. It's all excitement. It's all good.
For every mystery, there is someone who knows the truth. Perhaps it's you.
What up, Vaughn? Blue, you okay, dude? It's early as fuck. I didn't sleep last night. I've been trying to raise money for my medications today. It'd be the shit if you could donate, Vaughn. Help me get all my meds. I have $1 for one of my meds, one of my new meds my doctor just put me on. You got me?
Oh my goodness. Look at your little boy. What happened? Okay, you gotta be careful, okay?
I know.
Let's get you off your feet. We're gonna get your Medicare prescriptions delivered.
Well, life takes the best of you. Get the best help with your prescriptions.
Good night. I'm so thanks.
These intricate formations are known as crop circles. They often pop up overnight in the middle of nowhere. Many are attributed to clever pranksters. Others have no rational explanation at all. They look some strange force on Earth or something not of this world. Still lonely and heartbroken from the sudden death of his beloved wife, Charles Barker was happy when a new woman entered his life. It was to be as short-lived as the relationship. Ashley Pond and Loretta Gibbs, same age, same height, same dad's teammates and neighbors, until they were snatched off the street near this Oregon City apartment complex. Unspeakable crime that had left the small town gripped with fear, and authorities hunting for the worst kind of predator. A violent gang member reportedly wreaks havoc on the quiet streets of Milwaukee, leaving 3 innocent people dead. Police are asking for your help in apprehending the suspect before more lives are lost. One final piece of information may be all that's needed to solve the mystery. Perhaps someone watching can help. Perhaps it's you. Edmonton, Alberta, on the western edge of the Canadian prairie. Rusty Manuel and Theli Bookman had been driving home from the city when they were flagged down by one of their farmhands.
Hey. Yeah. He said, "You have a circle in your field." And I said, "Yes, I know. The darn animals, they're always lying down and flattening the grain." He said, "Oh no, it had to be an awfully big animal to make this circle."
What Rusty and Theli discovered were 7 crop circles pressed into thistle and barley, comprising a formation about 190 feet long.
It was just amazing. What made this? How could it be made? You know, what's going on here? The grain was all flattened down, and it almost looked like a pattern, like petals, the way the grain came out, and then the heads turned back in towards the center of the
I got hold of the said police did come out. He was totally amazed.
Soon after the startling discovery was made, the Canadian Crop Circle Research Network was contacted. CCCRN is a group of volunteers dedicated to gathering information about the mystery of crop circles. Judy Arndt is a field researcher with the organization.
It looked like a place that had been electrocuted. The plants were so badly frazzled. It was just amazing. Looked like there had been a huge force of some sort.
So it's up there.
I was very curious to see what we could see and look at the details of the formation.
Skeptics were quick to call the whole affair a hoax, attributing the work to clever pranksters like those shown in this TV documentary.
Well, I'm from a farming background, so I know what it looks like when plants are driven over or flattened in some way. So it was very clear to us that it hadn't been flattened by somebody out there with planks and boards. You can't do that to thistle. It was very densely grown, and it would be very difficult for anybody to get in without leaving tracks behind.
Paul Anderson, director of the CCCRN, has studied many similar formations in Western Canada.
Well, anybody can go over the board and flatten down wheat. I could do that. Anyone could do that. And yet something you have to take into account is it's not just the formation itself. It's the complexity of how it's actually constructed, which even some of the ones here in Saskatchewan we've seen have been quite elaborate, like multiple layers going in different directions, one on top of the other, and so on.
Paul believes another factor makes it improbable the so-called Edmonton Circle was a hoax. Unlike England's mysterious Stonehenge region, where many crop circles have been sighted, Western Canada holds little of that same mystique.
What would be the point? You know, usually when you hoax something, you want to claim it after and make a big fuss about it and, you know, make a name for yourself.
As Juilliard examined the site, she carefully documented each of the circles within the formation. Judy also gathered up crop and soil samples for scientific analysis.
Each sample is numbered and there's a corresponding sample of the grain stalks and of the soil at that particular location. So those are all numbered and written on a chart.
The samples were analyzed by Nancy Talbot in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Nancy works with a consortium of scientists who have studied more than 350 crop circle cases from 8 different countries.
The three major changes in plants in the winter McCoy as opposed to man-made crop circles are node elongation, expulsion cavities, and germination abnormalities.
Each of these conditions was present in the crop sample sent from Edmonton. In other words, both internal and external characteristics of the crops were profoundly altered in ways that could not be induced by humans using ropes and boards.
I think Dean Furnished feature on homes.com. Dean Furnished? Furnished.
Homes.com, the place to find a place.
Find buzzer beaters and cliffhangers in one place. Get 100 plus channels of movies, TV, and live sports. YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
As it was. People came together. That's just what we do.
My name's Sarah.
You can call me Bert. Who's in the picture?
I got a little name.
Marlene inside.
A corporation's green.
I'll just anything you say. Get eyes like a sneaky pig.
Experience inspiring story.
They might have the money, but we have the dignity.
For the whole family.
I'll give you $20 a day.
I ain't selling.
An 11-year-old girl, better get out of here. That must be so embarrassing. Sarah's Oil, inspired by a true story. Here at PJ, only theaters Friday.
Extra value meals are back at McDonald's. For just $5, get a savory and sweet sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, plus hash browns and a coffee. The sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles meal.
It's time to rethink what a complete multivitamin can do. Like support you as you navigate a new country. Taking Centrum Silver daily is clinically proven to help slow cognitive aging in older adults. You did it.
There is a sense that can walk me into something special. I have always equated it to
Former high-ranking British government official Colin Anderton has witnessed this phenomenon many times.
there's preciseness. The geometry is precise. There are no tracks in or out. The plants are not damaged. They're bent over. They're not knuckled or broken. The plants are changed in their internal structure at the cellular level. You don't find that in the house.
Meanwhile, the soil samples from the Edmonton site were sent to Dr. Sampath Iyengar in California. Dr. Iyengar is an expert in material analysis.
We went ahead and looked at the mineralogy of the clays using a technique called X-ray powder diffraction. That's the technique that can be used to identify the type of clays and the type of various other minerals that are present in a soil.
The results showed a dramatic difference between the soil samples taken from inside the crop circle compared to those taken from outside the circle.
this has been seen by geologists before, but this is in a geologic time over several millions of years, plus at a lot higher temperature than what you would expect in a crop circle. And this has to be some kind of a fantastic energy or some kind of laser type of thing that's causing this change. And I don't have any idea what it is.
Do the crop circles in Western Canada finally provide conclusive evidence of unknown forces at work? Skeptics say no. They blame pranksters who probably take credit for making 80% of these often complex formations, creations they call human land art. But what about the other 20%? It's a debate that's been raging since the mid-1970s, when the wave of crop circles captured worldwide attention. The most compelling question remains unanswered. If they are the work of humans, then who or what created them and how? Theories range from geothermal and magnetic forces to some kind of cosmic energy.
We looked at meteorology, we looked at earth energy, we looked at chemical application of farmers, and all of them led to a blank. They just did not fit. What we know is we have a solid mystery. This cannot be explained in terms of people making it. We have many hundreds that are absolutely certain not magnetic. And that is a solid.
I think it's like compasses will deviate or even spin if you sit them on the ground, like in the center of a circle. Things like that, which to me hoaxing simply doesn't explain. Something has to be affecting that compass. Even compasses in airplanes have been affected flying over some of these. I had problems with my own camera, both on the ground and in the plane. Any kind of electrical equipment will just malfunction or go completely dead inside some of these.
Perhaps most intriguing of all the proposed theories is the one that claims at least some crop circles are the work of extraterrestrials.
I was contacted by a young couple who had been driving along in the late evening.
Maybe I think they're gonna come.
She was taking her husband to work in North Edmonton. He looked out the window and saw some lights and rolled down the window to make sure it wasn't just reflection on his passenger side window. And the lights were still there. He got quite excited about it and asked his wife to pull over. There were two small lights, brilliant bluish. And they said these two lights looked like they were playing tag with each other. And it went on for, 20, 30 seconds. This sighting occurred about a week before the crop circle formation was found.
Then a few days later, Rusty Manuel and Philly Whitman had their own close encounter.
We were just approaching our farm when we saw this light.
What's that?
Yeah. First you thought it was a helicopter because it moved like a helicopter, but still there was no other lights on it.
It's so weird.
It was just bright and it would just hover over the field and sort of move off and then come back again.
Oh my God, I've never seen it like that.
I tried to picture it being an aircraft, but it was too big for an aircraft.
That's no airplane.
No.
And it just seemed like it passed over the back end of the pickup and it just disappeared. It just was so fast.
Was there a connection between the strange lights in the sky and the sudden appearance of the Edmonton crop circles just days later? Seth Shostak is senior astronomer at the SETI Institute, an acronym meaning the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Seth and his colleagues explore the heavens for any sign of life.
I believe that the aliens are out there, but I don't think that they're visiting here. The fact that so many people feel that there may be something unusual going on here, crop circles, UFOs, and so forth, I think this speaks a psychological need that we all have to believe that there are some powers that we don't understand. And after all, it's much more interesting to think that this pattern in the weed here was graffiti from beings from another world than to think that it was students from the local university. That's not a terribly interesting story.
But what about crop circles that simply defy logic? Formations that show no sign of human intervention. That certainly seemed to be the case in Red Deer, Alberta, not far from Edmonton. According to a stunned local farmer, this giant Star of David formation literally appeared overnight in one of his fields. It measured an incredible 422 feet across. Still, skeptics like Seth Shostak believe it's all smoke and mirrors.
When I go to a stage show in Las Vegas and I see these grand illusions produced by these magicians, I don't understand how they're all done. In fact, I don't understand how most of them are done. And I could assume some unknown physical force is involved. This would be terribly important if it were true about the crop circles, but the facts are that to say that they are made by something other than humans is a radical, revolutionary claim. And consequently, I'm not going to be swayed by what amounts to very anecdotal evidence. It's got to be better than that.
I don't think we need necessarily to be talking or trying to prove that it is or isn't extraterrestrial. I don't know that. What I know is what I'm looking at that is alive in our fields. Something knows what it's doing here. There is intelligence of some sort. And I know they're not all made by people.
One sheet of the next leading brand. One sheet of Bounty is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less, making your roll last even longer. But Bounty doesn't stop there. Each sheet has a durable diamond texture that's thicker than the next leading brand and holds up better against the toughest messes, even when wet. Get more done with one. Bounty, quicker picker up. America's #1 trusted paper towel.
Well, let me take my road trip. Going on vacation?
Oh yeah, road trip with the family.
I gotta stay right there in your car. We'll get you out of here in 10 minutes.
Yeah, just 10 minutes.
Yeah, so you can hurry home and get your family.
Oh no, they are already in. Take 5. Just stay in your car 10 minutes away.
Over the past 3 decades, researchers have compiled a database that includes more than 10,000 crop circle reports from around the world. If 8,000 of these strange formations can be attributed to pranksters, that still leaves more than 2,000 that are simply unexplained.
Hello? Yeah, I'd like to put an ad in personal for a week. Single, white female, 47.
August 1998. A woman calling herself Diana Ray decided to place an ad in the personal section of a Louisiana newspaper.
I'm honest and hardworking and seeking a compatible single white male, 45 to 55, to enjoy life together.
Diana Ray was hardly being honest. According to authorities, Diana was a drifter who hitchhiked around the country looking for her next mark, a lonely man to latch onto and drain his bank account. In fact, her real name was not Diana at all. It was Hazel Leota Head. A man named Charles Barker would have been interested in any one of these details if he had only known. Charles Barker had recently suffered through the devastating sudden loss of his wife of 10 years.
She was killed by a drunk driver. There was a settlement out of court, and he came into a lot of money. But after she died, it just seemed like he kind of fell apart. He didn't know what to do with himself, I think. He was depressed. But then later on, it's like he snapped out of it and wanted to do things, go fishing and travel. He bought a Winnebago, a boat. I guess that's when the loneliness set in, you know, he didn't like doing it by himself.
The Riverboat casinos operating on the Red River in Bossier City, Louisiana, became Charles Barker's latest abode. Although he probably believed he and Diana became acquainted by chance, given her track record, she undoubtedly orchestrated the meeting.
Charles Barker carried pretty large amounts of cash with him. Hazel would have almost certainly noticed that because she'd be looking for those kinds of things.
You look like you did pretty good on that.
And so he would have become a target for her.
You know what? I might ask you to help me because I'm not doing too good here.
Well, your hand looks pretty good right now. Let's see.
They shared a whirlwind romance, and less than a year after the death of his wife, and within days of their initial meeting, Hazel had moved in with Charles Barker.
Dad told me he'd met a woman in a casino. You know, I didn't think anything of it. You know, I hope he's happy. I don't want to see him alone. You know, I thought maybe she would be a good companion for him. And evidently he was happy with her for a while because he would call me and say he liked her.
You can you take her?
Well, I'm gonna give it one good old try, I'll tell you that.
He needed someone, some companionship. He didn't like to be alone.
So you're looking really good, Dad.
One weekend, Jennifer made the 9-hour drive from her Austin, Texas home to meet her father's new girlfriend.
Hey, sugar, I'm gonna let it come up.
Oh, fun, man, I want you to meet my daughter Jennifer.
Oh.
Jennifer, yeah.
That's amazing.
Boy. Oh, look at this.
When I first met her, she was in the casino with my dad.
So are you from around here?
She wasn't very, you know, a real presentable woman. You know, just no class. She looked like a barfly, you know. I was suspicious of her. I knew she wasn't right for him.
Daddy, what's going on? You're not.
A short time later, even Charles apparently began to share that opinion.
Big old messy situation here.
According to his daughter Cindy, Charles admitted he was troubled in a phone conversation, but declined to reveal what his problems were.
I can help you with this.
Hey, sweetheart, listen to me. Trust me here. I'll tell you.
When my dad called me, he just sounded so different, and he started crying, and I've never, you know, heard my dad cry or anything. And but he told me he'd call me in 2 or 3 days, everything would be okay, and let me know what was going on.
But that explanation never came. Shortly after, Jennifer tried calling her father to arrange another visit.
I've been trying to phone him for the whole week, and no answer. And I finally called my aunt, and she said, we'll go by there and check on him.
Charles Barker's sister June and her husband drove over to see if there was a problem.
Charlie? June Stringer and her husband notice that the front door of the residence is open. So they proceed further. The husband looks in and sees Mr. Barker slumped over the bar.
Charles Barker had been dead for 5 days, killed by a single gunshot to the head. As investigators combed the crime scene, several observations were made.
Our detectives found no sign of a struggle. They did not find the house that had been ransacked. Mr. Barker had a 25 caliber Raven arms pistol that he kept in his residence.
There were no prints found on the gun, but the ballistics evidence indicates that that was the weapon that was used. Mr. Barker had a safe that he kept in his bedroom. The safe was opened when investigators arrived.
Except for Charles Barker's personal papers, it was empty.
I know for a fact that my dad always kept money in there. And at that time, I believe he probably had $45,000 at least in that safe.
Also missing was Charles Barker's Lincoln Town Car and his girlfriend.
So let me take my road change. You going on vacation?
Oh yeah, road tripping with the family.
All right, stay right there in your car. We'll get you out of here.
No, just 10 minutes.
Yeah, so you can hurry home and get your family.
Take fun. Just stay in your car 10 minutes away. Mr. Barker's vehicle was found the next day after his body was discovered. It was found near the airport. Inside the car were pieces of clothing that belonged to Hazel. Also found in the car was DNA evidence, physical evidence that we believe definitely links her to the car. We believe she is the one that took the car from his residence and drove it to that spot near the airport.
A background check on Hazel had revealed that she'd been married as many as 10 times and was known to use more than a dozen aliases. There was also an outstanding warrant for her arrest in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hazel had allegedly burned down her boyfriend's mobile home, then fled before standing trial. Did Hazel had murdered Charles Barker and escaped with an unknown amount of cash? Had this been her plan from the very beginning?
Our investigators theorized that Mr. Barker was probably at the bar reading the newspaper. Hazel came out of the bedroom with the gun, the .25 caliber. He didn't realize that she was behind him. We believe that Mr. Barker probably never knew what hit him.
But was Hazel had plotting yet another scam, even while she was still living with Charles Barker? Louisiana authorities subsequently recovered a recording of a personals ad she played shortly before his murder. This is Hazel Head in her own voice. Lonely men everywhere, beware. Hazelhead is known to frequent truck stops, often hitching rides from town to town. Investigators believe she easily blends into that environment, never stays long in one place.
Hazelhead is a very street smart woman. She flies below radar. To track Hazelhead is very difficult. She becomes almost like a ghost. It's like she's here and she's gone. But it must not be forgotten that she is a dangerous person. If she might have killed even before Mr. Barker was murdered, she may have killed since. She has a dark side to her.
Hazelhead stands 5 feet 2 inches tall. She has a scar near her right eye and a gap between her front teeth. Head is wanted for the first-degree murder of Charles Barker and should be considered dangerous. Oregon City, Oregon. It's a small blue-collar town of 27,000 people just south of Portland. A friendly place where adults trust their neighbors and children play without fear. But suddenly everything changed. Over a 6-week period, 2 young girls vanished without a trace, setting in motion one of the most complex and unusual investigations state authorities have ever encountered. Nestled among the hills of Oregon City sits Newell Creek Village Apartments. The complex includes 125 units and is home to more than 325 residents, including Laurie Pond and her 12-year-old daughter, Ashley.
Hurry up, you late. I'm coming home.
January 9th, 2002. Ashley was running late as usual. It was a little after 8 a.m. and she had only a few minutes to catch the bus. The walk up the hill to the bus stop took less than 10 minutes. Ashley was a popular student, a member of both the swimming and dance teams. On that Wednesday, she was looking forward to practice after class. Laurie Pond expected to hear from her daughter by 6:15 p.m. When she didn't, Laurie became worried and called the school.
Hi. The dance coach answered. She said, no, Ashley wasn't there. And I said, well, can you ask the kids? Maybe they saw her. And they said no. And they said they hadn't even seen her in school. And that's where I went, no, this is wrong. Something's wrong because Ashley would not have done that and she would have called me.
Now, when was Ashley last seen? Laurie immediately contacted the Oregon City Police. He told the officer none of Ashley's clothes or personal belongings was missing. Things she was sure her daughter would have taken had she run away.
No. I didn't sleep that night at all. I just thought maybe she would, come home and I'd, knock on the door or whatever, but she never did.
The police concluded there might be a child abductor on the loose and opened an investigation. Detectives first talked with some of Ashley's classmates. They said she never got on the bus. Next, police canvassed the entire apartment complex, looking for leads or possible suspects. They found neither.
The investigators have been able to search every apartment within that complex, including crawl spaces and attic spaces, and are confident that there was nothing there to see.
The search expanded. Hundreds of volunteers combed the surrounding area, while detectives questioned Ashley's father, looked into Ashley's internet activity, and checked out lists of known sex offenders. Again, no clues, no suspects, no sign of Ashley. Detectives then contacted the FBI.
We've moved to the larger community around the apartment complex, been through the school, talked to individual students who were associates, we've talked to teachers, we've talked to administrators, we've talked to the school.
More dead ends. Still the same fundamental question remained unanswered. What had happened to Ashley Pond between 8:05 a.m. and 8:15 a.m.? Meanwhile, 13-year-old Miranda Geddes, Ashley's neighbor and dance teammate, found herself in the middle of an intense investigation.
Hey, Miranda. Can you tell me how long you actually know Ashley?
Since third grade. The FBI talked to Miranda a lot about Ashley because they've known each other for so long. They were friends, and I'm sure that they knew pretty much the same people.
Days turned to weeks, still no sign of Ashley Pond. Life at the apartment complex became somewhat normal again. March 8th, 2002. Michelle Duffy packed up for work as usual. It was 7:30 a.m. Daughter Miranda was in no hurry. He still had 45 minutes before the school bus arrived. Police believe Miranda left her apartment a little after 8 a.m. and headed up the hill to the bus stop.
It's Michelle.
About 1:20, my oldest daughter called me and said Miranda's friend said she was at school. So of course I called home and I answered her, and I called the school, and the school said, "Oh yeah, she's absent." And then I got very upset. Oh my God, something's wrong.
Thank you. No, thank you.
And I went to the police station, and they took a report and started right then on the case.
Everybody's reaction was the same. Oh my God, again.
Minutes later, police raced to the apartment complex, hoping against hope Miranda Gaddis would show up. She didn't.
We notified the FBI and immediately ratcheted up just a full-scale investigation and search.
Well, when I heard Miranda came up missing, also my heart dropped in my stomach and I cried because it was like reliving the day Ashley came up missing all over again.
The circumstances surrounding Miranda's disappearance on March 8, 2002 were eerily similar to those of Ashley Pond 2 months earlier. Even more ominous was the striking resemblance between the two girls. They were about the same height and weight. Both had brown eyes.
We've got a mirror image of the victim and the occurrence. It is almost as if the same child disappeared twice, and it was just a repeat.
Like Ashley, Miranda usually took the road up the hill to catch the bus. Had she been snatched by a stranger on the way? Had Ashley made a similar trip?
It's feasible that if we're dealing with a stranger abduction, that Ashley's disappearance was a crime of opportunity at that one moment in time, and that the offender, having been successful, came back to the same area to do it again.
A crime of opportunity committed by a stranger? It was certainly plausible, but the mothers of the two girls found it highly unlikely.
They both would have put up a stake if somebody tried to take them, like that they didn't know.
If someone grabbed Miranda, she would have fought, and there would have been something laying in the road.
Without an apparent crime scene, police began to focus on another, perhaps more likely theory.
There's nothing to indicate there was any struggle or any resistance, no blood, no articles of clothing, anything of that nature. So we also have the possibility we're dealing with somebody that both of them knew.
Since the disappearance of Ashley Pond and Miranda Gaddis, the school bus now picks up students right outside their door. However, residents of Newell Creek Village Apartments, indeed all of Oregon City, remain on edge, terrified that a child abductor walks among them.
This is the type of offender that doesn't stop on their own volition. This type of multiple sexual predator is someone that in the general experience dictates that they will continue until they stop.
Investigators have processed over 3,500 tips. Still, they have no suspects. However, the search continues for any lead that might help crack these puzzling cases. Meanwhile, two hardworking single mothers suffer through every parent's nightmare. Try their best to rally them.
Miranda, I love you, and your family loves you, your friends love you, and everyone misses you. And we want you home, and whoever has you, we're never going to give up. We're going to be here forever.
I can't wait for the day that I can wrap my arms around Ashley again and tell her I love her.
Update. On August 27, 2002, The desperate search for Ashley Pond and Miranda Gaddis ended tragically at a neighbor's house just a few hundred yards from where the girls were last seen. The remains of Miranda Gaddis were found in a shed in the backyard of Ward Weaver's rented home. 2 days later, in the same backyard, investigators broke up a concrete slab to unearth the body of Ashley Pond. When a gruesome discovery was made, the 39-year-old Weaver was in custody, charged with raping his son's girlfriend. He is being held on a $1 million bond. Weaver is expected to be charged in the deaths of the 2 girls.
Hey, I'm Bobby. I'm just one of those super friendly type owners.
Excuse me, did I hear you say you were the owner?
I'm starting to get nervous. Sweat. It's cute, but the man of the ones supposed to ask a ring now. That hasn't been true for 30 years. 30 years.
It's like, you Friday, you didn't see anything.
South side of Milwaukee is home to hundreds of law-abiding blue-collar families. Not long ago, this peaceful neighborhood was invaded by a vicious gang of drug dealers known as the Lopez family. Allegedly, the gang's principal enforcer is 20-year-old Arthur Lopez Jr. Police believe Arthur is behind a bloody wave of terror that has left 3 people dead, countless lives destroyed. Hopefully, someone watching can help authorities find Arthur Lopez Jr. The Lopez family reportedly bought 7 houses in a 2-block radius to oversee their drug empire. When a rival gang called the Latin Kings tried to move into their area, authorities believe the Lopezes did not hesitate to act. Anyone who gets in their way reportedly has to face this man, Arthur Jr., the alleged hitman for the Lopez family. Carlos Hernandez was once a member of the Latin Kings, but according to his family, Carlos had recently left the gang and turned his life around.
He just seen drive-bys and he started to see how very rarely do they hit their intended target. They'll hit innocent bystanders, kids playing on their bikes in front of their houses. He knew it was a possibility that could happen to anybody, and he felt that he'd get out the gang and turn it around and really try to help the neighborhood come back to what it was once. was before.
Carlos Hernandez organized a youth basketball league and took a job with a city organization that helps kids stay out of gangs.
A major part of his job was to try and mediate problems between the gangs in that particular area.
So what do you think, Bob? These kids are taking a lot of business.
The Lopez family had come to Mr. Hernandez with a problem with the Latin Kings over territory.
Police believe that Hernandez failed to resolve the Lopez's turf dispute with the Latin Kings. Arthur Lopez Jr. was allegedly given the order to take care of Hernandez. According to witnesses, Arthur Lopez Jr. and several family members surrounded the building where Carlos Hernandez worked.
There was a predetermined code that they were going to broadcast on the radio when Mr. Hernandez was spotted. The code was, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood," and that code was put out when Mr. Hernandez left from his business to his vehicle.
At 4:30 p.m., authorities believe Arthur Lopez Jr. donned a mask, hopped on a bike, and coasted toward the unsuspecting Hernandez. Carlos Hernandez was hit by 8 bullets and died instantly.
There was a nightmare. We met some. We wish it never happened. The hardest part is family gathering, seeing my sister and mother. Because he's not there.
Although Arthur Lopez Jr. was a suspect in Hernandez's homicide, police had little evidence against him or his family. Then Arthur made a seemingly harmless mistake. Arthur Lopez was arrested for driving without a license. While he was being processed, police received an unexpected visitor. Arthur's father, Arturo Sr., been in command of the Lopez family.
Arturo Lopez Sr. demanded the release of his son and threatened to return with a firearm and to kill all the police officers who were involved in Arthur Lopez Jr.'s arrest.
What up to viewers on YouTube?
Arthur Lopez Jr. could not be held in the misdemeanor traffic charge and was released. But Arturo Sr. was convicted of threatening a police officer and sentenced to 18 months in jail. His incarceration gave the authorities the opportunity they'd been looking for.
While Arturo Lopez Sr. was in prison, he made daily phone calls to his son and other members of the Lopez family, basically directing the continued narcotics distribution activities of the Lopez gang.
I want you to drop it off a chin.
All of these phone calls that were made by Arturo Lopez Sr. were recorded by so there are recorded copies of all the conversations from both ends of the telephone.
As authorities continued to build their case against the Lopezes, there was yet another violent outburst. Once again, according to witnesses, Arthur Lopez Jr. played a principal role.
It's clear, man. It's clear. Come on.
On August 11th, Maximiano Castillo, known member of the Latin Kings, and his girlfriend Vanessa Rivas returned home after a quick trip to the grocery store. A car was shadowing the couple.
All right, go on.
Police believed that the driver was Arthur Lopez Jr., and that his passenger was another Lopez gang member named Luis Acevedo.
¿Qué pasó, bro? ¿Qué pasó, bro? I got a message from a friend, bro. Yeah, so what's up?
When Vanessa Rivas, a completely innocent bystander who had just celebrated her 15th birthday, was unable to escape the rain of bullets.
We know that Vanessa Rivas was hit once in the side. The bullet did a lot of damage and she basically bled to death. Mr. Castillo was struck in
What up, 5 viewers? Good morning.
by the bullets fired by Mr.
How's everyone doing today?
From his injuries.
In the ensuing months, authorities used Arturo Sr.'s taped phone calls and eyewitness testimony to secure arrest warrants against Arthur Lopez Jr. and the rest of his family. On December 15th, a multi-jurisdictional task force moved to put the Lopez gang out of business for good. Large tankers of guns, drugs, and money were seized. 8 individuals were arrested, destroying the gang's ability to terrorize a community. Only one Lopez family member managed to escape the citywide dragnet, Arthur Lopez Jr. He has now avoided arrest for nearly 2 years.
He's got to pay. He's done so much hurt to many people, families, and he's a coward. He's hiding. We need to get him. Get him on the streets.
Rev Ministry to the Sun, somewhere who holds the key. Join me for the next edition of Unsolved Mysteries.
Many people diagnosed as HER2 negative may actually have HER2 low metastatic breast cancer. That's why I dug a little deeper.
Ask my doctor questions.
Supposed to provide for my family. Fuck around and find out. Bubba's bitchin'. Stop sending a hard grinding blood, guys. I'm the drift king of Akron. CIA hole is my boyfriend. This is from my crew and family, sit and spin. I'm already out the man payment now. How am I supposed to provide for my family? Fuck around and find out. You'll be Bubba's bitch in the end. Money talks, bullshit walks. Gotta keep my family fed. No time for games, no time for fakes. I lay down the law, no mistakes. Money talks, bullshit walks. Gotta keep my family fed. No time for games, no time for fakes. I lay out the law, no mistakes. See ya. Money are demanding and now. How am I supposed to provide for my family? Fuck around and find out you'll be Bubba's bitch in the end. Money are demanding and now. How am I supposed to provide for my family? Fuck around and find out you'll be Bubba's bitch in the end. Money I demand payment now. How am I supposed to provide for my family? Fuck around and find out you'll be Bubba's bitch in the end.
What up, y'all? Top of the morning to you. How's everyone doing? I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this is from her father. Your bunch of lying no good punks, and I know who it's coming from, because I've back traced it, and you've been reported to cyber police, because I've back traced it. Consequences will never be the same, because I've back traced it, and you've been reported to cyber police, because I've back traced it. You'll be arrested. End of conversation. Well, guess what? My daughter's not lying, and I'm not gonna put up with any of you people's crap. If you ain't got something nice to say about my daughter, then keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. And any more of your comments that put it on there will be caught and will be bound. You will have to deal with the police, cause you done goofed. Cause you done goofed. Because I've back traced it, and you've been reported to the cyber police, because I've back traced it. Consequences will never be the same, because I've back traced it, and you've been reported to the cyber police, because I've back traced it. You'll be arrested. End of conversation.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on select Hyundai. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Hey, Dad, I gotta complain about something. I had a car. I only paid for a brand new Hyundai Tucson.
Enjoy the report. Feels so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Salesman.
Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on select Hyundai vehicles. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Michelle had a high regard for life. Michelle was a happy person. Michelle had so many goals in life, and when she had made the statement to me about separating from Jeremy, she had dealt with the situations in her marriage that she was not pleased with. And she had also made her plan on how to remedy those situations, and that was to separate and ask that Jeremy get professional help.
The Maliners also believed the accident theory was unlikely. The balcony was 48 inches, chest high for Michelle.
The wall was too high for anybody to lose their balance. It wasn't a poorly constructed balcony. It was very adequate in height to prevent something like that from happening.
Michelle's parents sent her medical records to 3 board-certified forensic pathologists. The unanimous verdict: Michelle was murdered, but possibly not by a fall. According to forensic experts, if Michelle had fallen 3 stories, she should have had injuries on both sides of her brain.
The head injuries that Michelle Witherall demonstrated at her autopsy were quite extensive, but these were all left-sided. These injuries are what we call coup, direct impact injuries, as from a blow.
Weck says Michelle's other injuries also indicated an assault. In addition, what wasn't harmed is significant. Her pelvis was unbroken, and her internal organs were undamaged.
That is extremely inconsistent, very atypical of the kinds of injuries that we would find in a fall.
Another red flag. Michelle's body was allegedly found more than 9 feet from the building.
Pick one single physical factor in this case that leads me to the conclusion that it was not an accidental fall or a suicidal fall. It would be that somebody can die in a suicidal attempt and leap several feet away from the building, or you can be thrown and wind up several feet from the building. You do not accidentally fall and wind up 9 feet. The body doesn't bounce.
Finally, the Allegheny County Coroner's Office opened the first official inquiry into the case. The verdict was quick and clear.
We will amend the original undetermined to homicide.
We're thankful for the outcome of the hearing today.
The coroner's ruling didn't specify how Michelle died, but her parents feel certain they know.
I think that night she made the mistake of telling Jeremy she was going to leave him. We think she ran from the apartment fleeing for her life at that point. And the assault, she was then found and assaulted outside of the apartment.
The Malamus believe the balcony story was a quickly improvised cover, a safe way for Jeremy Witherell to explain Michelle's injuries. While no one on Jeremy's side was willing to be interviewed, they emphasized that despite the Malamus suspicions, Jeremy did pass a police polygraph twice.
We told Jeremy from the day Michelle died that we want to find out, and we plan to find out everything there is to find out about what happened to Michelle, and we will pursue justice in this case, no matter where it takes us.
Next, he was a convicted murderer. She was a lonely widow. Together they staged a daring prison break.
All right, make a wish and blow those candles out.
Terry Nickerson's 15th birthday was hardly a joyous event. She was living with her uncle's family. Though they did their best, it was impossible to pretend anyone was happy.
was numb. I didn't feel anything. I wasn't happy. It was the worst birthday of my life.
Small wonder, Sherry's party included a number of uninvited guests. Oklahoma state troopers stationed inside the house and out. They were there because of a crime involving Sherry's mother, a crime committed 9 days earlier. Two lifers had escaped from a nearby Oklahoma prison. Sherry's mother, Donna Moses Brown, had driven the getaway car. Sherry's mom has been on the run ever since. However, she has never been charged with any crime because both her family and the authorities view her as a victim. A lonely widow, so desperate for love that she could be manipulated by a convicted killer named Michael Wayne Brown.
I'm done.
Ironically, it was a good deed that introduced Donna to Brown's work. Her church group started writing letters to convicts to help them find spiritual comfort. But these pen pals quickly became more.
I don't know if I can make it in this place if it wasn't for those letters that I get from you.
Oh, well, whatever we can do to help.
Oh, you do. You do so much. You're always so supportive.
Oh, you write real sweet letters too.
I cannot get over how beautiful you are.
Oh, she was lonely. She hadn't had anybody for a very long time, and she needed that companionship. Someone to talk to her about things and show her love and affection, and that's what she got from him.
How you doing?
I'm okay. It's hard. He spoke with her, and I think that's pretty much all that mattered. He wrote her. It was somebody new in her life, and I think that it probably could have been anybody to him, but he was the victim that fell into the line of fire, I guess.
Wow. These are great. Michael Wayne Brown, like a lot of men that are incarcerated for long periods of time, they really don't have any concern for other people's rights or lives. They do it all the time in the world to scheme on people. And they get quite good at it. They can sell you a chainsaw in the desert.
She wrote him every day. She talked to him on the phone every day. It kind of started and went full force. There was no slowing down.
I think Don Brown's misconception of Michael Wayne Brown was just a misunderstood young man who, through unfortunate circumstances, was doing time.
But Michael Wayne Brown was hardly misunderstood. Everyone but Donna knew what he was. And what he was a cold-blooded killer. 9 years earlier, when Brown was only 18, he and another teenager, Dennis Woodward, burglarized an insurance office in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Insurance investigator Richard Sullivan picked the wrong time to stop by for a file.
Turn around. Turn around and fix the wall. There you go. Turn around.
Brown was very, very sober after that. He said, I killed him, almost bragging about it. He looks over at Woodward and he said, if I had one more bullet, I would shot his eyes out. And, then after they went off, they had breakfast at a local restaurant.
While Brown was eating his bacon and eggs, 41-year-old Richard Sullivan bled to death on his office floor. He left behind a wife and a young daughter. Michael Wayne Brown was put on death row for murdering Richard Sullivan. However, that sentence was later commuted to life without parole. By the time Brown met Donna Moses in 1984, he had spent 9 years in prison. Meanwhile, Donna had served a different kind of time. She had been married twice and widowed twice. Both husbands had been murdered. Raising 2 children on her own was a constant struggle. Perhaps it was just another ironic twist in Donna's hard luck life, as she now found herself in love with a murderer 10 years her junior.
It was consuming her too much. You know, she didn't have time for anything else but him. I mean, she could visit him every weekend, and it was like the whole week was preparing to see him.
Your coffee? Yeah.
Less than 3 months after Brown first met Donna, he performed a brief transformation from shackled prisoner to eager bridegroom.
Sir, do you, Michael Wayne Brown, think this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to love her and to cherish her, for as long as you both live it?
I do.
And do you, Donna Moses, think this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to love and to cherish him, and to stay forward, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
I love you.
Moments after the ceremony, the honeymoon was over. Brown, back in shackles in Prison Orange, was returned to his cell. Donna sent her children to stay with relatives and followed Brown as he was transferred from prison to prison, sometimes living out of her car. Between visiting days, she wrote letters. Michael Wayne Brown became Donna's whole world. In November of 1984, Brown was transferred to a minimum security prison. It was a perfect opportunity. Brown wasted little time. Less than 3 weeks later, Michael Wayne Brown and another inmate jumped a 4-foot fence and raced for freedom. By the time guards discovered them missing, it was too late. Police have remained a step or two behind Brown ever since. A few days after the escape, they tracked him to Paris, Texas, but missed him by a matter of minutes. Since then, Brown is known to have lived in Kentucky, New Jersey, Texas, and Virginia. For 3 years, Donna's family had no word, no idea if she was alive or dead. Finally, in 1987, Donna Brown made an unexpected call to her daughter.
Hey,
Are you okay?
you know, it was just kind of a quick thing, and that's all. She told me she loved me, and that was it.
Though Donna had said she wanted to come home, she never did. 4 years went by. Donna called again, asking if she had grandchildren. At that time, she didn't. Since then, however, Donna's children, Sherry and David, have each had a son. Both would like nothing more than to introduce the boys to their long-lost grandmother.
Afraid that she's afraid that we don't want her back. I'm afraid that my mom feels like that she did something really bad and that she can't face us anymore. How are we going to act to her? And what I say to her is, it's okay.
There is nothing to stop Donna Brown from rejoining her family, except Donna Brown. She can come home at any time.
There is no arrest warrant issued by the state of Oklahoma or by the federal government for her. She's not wanted on any charges, and in fact, we would encourage her, if she's no longer with Brown, or if in fact she is with Brown, to immediately contact the authorities.
Student clashed with Tijuana police. His family believes the police retaliated. Tijuana has been one of Mexico's most popular border towns for decades, especially for college students. Hundreds hit nightclubs every weekend, having big fun at bargain rates. But a good time doesn't always come cheap. It can cost you your life. 1:30 a.m., Tijuana time. Stephen Thomas was looking for his brother Jason in the crowds partying on Avenida Revolucion. They become separated while heading back to their car.
I looked to the right of me. I turned around and my brother wasn't there. I mean, it was like that.
An hour and a half after Jason disappeared, the Tijuana police officer discovered his battered body in the road.
Jason was drinking and he was loud and obnoxious and maybe out of control. That night, I believe that Jason was murdered by the Tijuana police.
Mr. Rain does not sit silent. It speaks to you, invites all to rise above the clouds and feel the sensation of skiing from the peak. The only way to experience the 60th anniversary is to go live it. Ski and ride Whistler Blackcomb with a day pass. Prices go up November 16th.
Welcome to Now Included, powered by Accolade. Get trusted resources backed by medical pros for your health. Tap into real experiences from people who look like you and find a safe place for your story. Walk into a space where being you is celebrated and find your power. Your health, your story, your power.
Twenty-year-old Jason Honors has moved from Virginia to Los Angeles 1 year.
Fuck everybody, you can't stop me. I'm insane like some sort of clown posse. You can't top me, so you can just hop up off me. Y'all be flippy floppy, taking sides, and it's obvious you're weak minded. Cause when it comes down to the problem, you got some kind of stuck up your ass or something. While you're blindfolded, taking shots in the dark. Y'all are funnier than the smell of a clown fart. If you wanna start, I'm smart. I'll rip you apart, starting at the heart. And arguably, I ain't even getting started on you retards. You better be flame retarded if you want to argue. Cause I'll chop and skew, shish kebab you on the bonfire. I'm tired of these cats thinking they can outsmart me. I'm about to set the bar and go kamikaze. Put you to sleep like Bill Cosby, then do horribly unmentionable things that I'm not proud of to the body. You know, stuff like sodomizing. I'm sick. I'm that fucking crazy ass lunatic, white piece of shit guy with the floating eye that can see through all your lies and bullshit. What don't you get, you hypocrites who talk shit, get swatted like a fly, cause all you do is bug me, cause I guess I'm just that guy. That got you addicted, conflicted, feeling some kind of way, just admit it, all y'all critics are just fucking gay. It's horrific to be specific. What did I say? I said you were homo, just so you know though. My rhymes you can't match it, I slaughter facts, I'll strike you like matches. Did I study you faggot? Your heart will flutter before stopping completely. You can't see me, but can you hear me? You can never defeat me. This is intriguing. I'm willing to see your demise. You can try, but you can't deny that I'm that effing guy that's too fucking fly, but you can just die, cause fuck everybody. You can't stop me. Just try me. You'll see. You just can't beat me. I'm the best of the shit. You bitches can get it. You'll never forget. I'm the best of the shit. Shall I go on? Nah, they ain't ready for Freddy Spezio to spaz out and go crazy on these hoes. The boy Blue Devil about to show you how the evil within is greater than any fucking sin you can think of or try to comprehend. In your weak mind and imagine, you'll cringe. Goddamn, I'm the man. Someone give him a donation. So shut the fuck up. Poor guy's down on his luck. Seems stuck in a rut. Just give him a buck so he can get some beer and make an ass out of himself on live like a queer. I'll put you in fear. I'm here for this reason. I feel it's the season for killing. No reason in seeing you breathe and leave you deceased is the meaning. There's no pieces. Demeaning. Time to get a spasm with the typing, and I ain't one the right one, but I think I might have to, cause I'm getting excited for the fight. I'm hyped, cause I know someone want to battle that's tight, but you can't handle my rambles. I can't stand you. You're stupid. Y'all doodle. I'm Zeus. You foolish. Need tutoring. I like to taste the blood, so just so it's understood, I'll take on any motherfucker wanting beef. We can take it to the hood, cause I don't need weapons when stepping. I get the flex, and then I'll get in your head, and that's when you wish you were dead again and again. We will never be friends. We will always be enemies. I'll burn you worse than Freddy to the 3rd degree. Oh, you ain't heard of me? Well, you'll see when you're going to need immediate emergency surgery urgently for me murdering you verbally. You nerdy. I'm the jerk that will hurt your feelings. I'm Emilio, but still though I got the strength to yank you, jerk your neck as your lame. No one can do it the same. I'm a fluke. Here a spoof. I'm amused. You'll be like, yo, this dude just tied the noose and strung me up before I can say anything. What the fuck, bud? Fuck everybody. You can't stop me, just try me, you'll see. You just can't beat me, I'm the best of the shit. You bitches come get it, you'll never forget, I'm the best of the shit. I keep it gangsta like a fly pimp G. You can't stand how tight my flows and rhymes be. Y'all kids need to sit and think before you battle me, man. This dude's influences is Twisted Eminem and ICP. I grew up on this shit, you're a bitch little kid going through puberty. You're timid, drink a fifth, get some hair on your chest. I ain't stressing, let this be the lesson. I'm fresh to death and I'm the best and there's nothing you can do to test me. I'm hotter than that volcano in Hawaii. I'm that guy who don't mind plucking one off in your eye. If you want to try and start and act hard, I'll slaughter you and smack you and get the savagely ravaging you, rapid attacking you faggots and hacking what hatches my soul is black and addicted to stabbing and viciously slashing while laughing. Your blood on my face, that's what's happening. Your pants you'll be crapping, you'll be flabbergasted like, damn man, what happened? I'll torture you to death and on your last breath I'll kill myself too to get you in the next dimension of heaven. No hesitation, did I mention I'm fluent in voodoo? I do what I use it, I spit it like fluid. I'm a bad influence, but it's beautiful music to me when I spew it. Got you bitches falling in love like you, but like Nike, just do it. I find it amusing, useful to use utensils exactly now's the time to be precise, makes my mind think crucial. I make my incisions and rip you limb from limb. Shit, I can't stop thinking, I'm sinking, I need to stop drinking, I can't stop myself, I bounce off the walls, I'm just a lost cause, your piece has been real. But what I can feel makes me want to steal your life, cause sometimes my rhymes are all that confines all the emo bullshit I keep bottled up inside my mind. The feels, man, can't help it, but for now I'll just shelf it and just get high, keep trying to feel fine, ignite this light I know I got within, but sin keeps me from redemption. I got this shit, I'm optimistic, but for now, don't let this just be the finish. You've just witnessed Fred at his best, don't test me, I want to see you come at me with something fresh, B. Cause see, I get silly, I'm deliberately decapitating hillbillies, literally, the killing is thrilling, I'm willing for the chance, in my boy blue stands, and you're just gonna pee your pants, like you just can't help it, you just piss. So just miss me with your shit, you bitches come get it, this is not it, but for now, fuck everybody, you can't stop me, just try me, you'll see, you just can't beat me, I'm the best of this shit, you bitches come get it, you'll never forget, I'm the best of this shit. Whoa, whoa.
We had
Whoopity whoopity.
with no injuries to his lower extremities.
What up, two viewers on JDA?
These unexplained 5-inch marks all over his body and chest area and in his face.
At the request of Unsolved Mysteries, 3 forensic pathologists reviewed the autopsy report. One said Jason's death did indeed appear to be the result of a simple hit and run. 2 others, however, agreed that the inconsistencies were puzzling.
I would be very skeptical of one of the autopsy findings and the assertion that this was simply a hit and run accident. One has to apply not to be skepticism to the entire autopsy, mind you.
For instance, the Tijuana coroner claimed the car had hit Jason in the chest hard enough to rupture his heart.
In order for a blunt blow to get through the sternum and rupture the heart, it would have to virtually crush the chest. And it's quite evident from the autopsy that chest is not badly mashed. There are no bruises on it. There are no big hematomas. So that becomes incredible. The autopsy report becomes incredible.
Another point, Jason's injuries included head wounds that might easily have been the result of a beating.
Certainly, the lesions around the head and the skull, which were severe, certainly consistent with the butt of a rifle or any other sharp or even blunt object that could be used on an individual.
I believe that he was beaten, and after he was beaten, perhaps in an attempt to destroy the evidence, that they perhaps ran over and or drug him. And I believe that when he was run over, that he was already dead.
Though Tijuana authorities say the case is still under investigation, they also believe Jason's family may be overreacting.
We have had responses from the families in conflict with the saying of the autopsy and the statement from our department. Even sometimes where there are witnesses of an accident and there is a driver responsible for the accident, there have been some families stating that they are not accepting that it was an accident.
Maybe he should have gone to jail. He didn't. No,
Oh.
nobody deserves to die.
Find buzzer beaters and cliffhangers in one place.
Get 100 plus channels of movies, TV, and live sports. YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
There's a new sauce in town. In your snack wrap. Buffalo Ranch. Tangy. Creamy. A little mild and a little wild. Buffalo Ranch snack wraps for a limited time. That's McDonald's.
People on Medicare are now eligible for a $1,200 grocery card. If you want the $1,200 grocery allowance card usable at major retailers, you should call now. If you are not aware, there is an upgrade designed to help people on Medicare with groceries and health-related costs.
As you may know, saving money on healthcare is important, especially for people on Medicare. You can now qualify for a $1,200 grocery card usable at major chains by calling 1-877-39-40014. Not everyone will qualify, and this offer will not last. If you receive Medicare, you should check if you qualify. It's free to check if you're eligible. If you qualify, a spending allowance card will be mailed to you. The sign-up period for the $1,200 grocery card is now open. Do not miss the opportunity to apply. This card has been a game changer in helping people stretch their budget. There's no risk to applying, and it won't affect your current Medicare benefits.
People are thrilled with their grocery card. Imagine the relief of picking out what you need and not stressing over the price at checkout. But don't delay, it won't last. Call 1-877-394-0014 now. A licensed agent will guide you through getting your $1,200 grocery card. Call and speak with a licensed insurance agent today who can help you qualify. There's no obligation to enroll, and the offer won't last. Call 1-877-394-0014. That's 1-877-394-0014.
Next, Tara Lloyd is losing her battle with cancer until she touched the headstone of a little girl who died over 3 decades earlier. Lourdes France, Fatima, Portugal, and Medjugorje in the former Yugoslavia. Every year they come by the millions, the dying, the disabled, the sick at heart. They come in the hope of being miraculously healed, in the hope of being touched by God. Now many are making a pilgrimage to a new Mecca for miracles, the tomb of a young girl buried in a small graveyard in a tiny town in rural Louisiana. Her name was Charlene Richard. Many people say that even from the grave, she has the power to heal. One of those was Nicole Price. When Nicole was 2 years old, she was diagnosed with a lethal cancer. She was expected to die within months, perhaps less. She and her family prayed for Charlene's health. They believe that thanks to Charlene Richard, Nicole lived not just a few months, but 9 more years.
I feel that Charlene's intervention in Nicole's life gave us the 9 extra years we had with her. I feel somehow God reached out to Charlene and touched Nicole.
Donald Ledger also believes in Charlene's healing power. In 1979, Donald, a sergeant in the United States Army, had an accidental fall that injured his feet, shattering both heels. Doctors doubted he would ever walk again. Donald started praying to Charlene. To everyone's surprise, he didn't just walk, he even started running.
Without the intercession of Charlene, I feel that I would not be able to walk. I truly believe it. I believe in miracles. I do.
But who was Charlene Richard? It was 1959. Charlene had leukemia and was suffering great pain. Yet when Father Brennan found the courage to tell her she was dying, it was she who comforted him.
Father Brennan, when I see the Blessed Mother, I'll tell her that you said hello.
During her last days, Charlene thought often of others. She believed in the Catholic idea that one person's suffering can save another. Though she was dying, She selflessly offered her pain as redemption for other patients in the hospital.
When the sickness came and the pain came, she grew in crisis. She became great.
Charlene prayed for others every day for 2 weeks, even as her own time was running out.
I will be going tomorrow. I want to say goodbye. I will be praying for you.
The next day, Charlene died.
I felt a presence in that room of the divine. There was a aura of peace in that room.
Charlene's death deeply touched her small community. Over the years, word spread of her courage and saintly ways. People started praying to her, asking her to intercede for them with God. Now thousands gather each year for a memorial mass. More and more say they've experienced Charlene's power to heal firsthand. In 1994, 21-year-old Tara Roy developed colon cancer.
She was diagnosed with a Duke's Class C Stage 3 carcinoma. And I've done enough research and reading about it to where I know that you don't come back from those.
Tara started heavy doses of chemotherapy. Despite its debilitating side effects, she was determined not to give in to the disease.
I didn't want this to interfere with my life. I didn't want it to like totally take over, and dictate what I would do and how I would do it. I just wanted to be a college student and go to class and do my job.
But Tara's determination wasn't enough to make her better. Every day she felt worse. She soon felt she needed more than medicine. Tara and her parents started making frequent trips to Charlene's grave. On their last trip, however, Tara was so sick they thought she might die within weeks.
With the cumulative chemotherapy kicking in real strong, we almost turned around and came home.
I didn't want to go. I felt terrible. It was probably one of those days that I just didn't want to be anything. Laying in bed was a challenge. Deep down, I wanted to go to the grave that day. I just didn't physically feel up to it at all.
Tara knelt by Charlene's grave as usual. Then some impulse inspired her to do something she had never done before. With her fingers, she traced the letters of Charlene's name.
And in about 20 seconds, she turned around and she was transformed. And I saw her. I was stunned.
I felt like a lot had been lifted right then, like just like a weight off my shoulder was lifted right then.
I could be okay.
I just felt that I definitely would be healthy again, and I would beat this.
Tara did beat it, both the cancer and the effects of the chemotherapy. She is now back to being a healthy and happy young woman. She finished college, went on to get a master's degree in social work, and is engaged to be married.
I saw the hand of God. I saw what I needed to see that day. We saw a miracle, no doubt.
Does a spirit of
I gotta take a piss. I'll be right back.
to help those who send her their prayers? Skeptics are convinced that for the thousands who visit Charlene's grave, the answer is an unwavering yes. Next, health authorities catch Carl McWilliams, wanted by State College police on child molestation. Recently, authorities in Pennsylvania contacted us with a request to profile a fugitive considered to be very manipulative and dangerous. Please watch closely. You may be able to help put this individual behind bars. State College, Pennsylvania. The young mother struggling to raise her 3 young children alone met Carl McWilliams in the fall of 1992. He lived only a few doors away, and they were both students at Pennsylvania State University. The two became friends, and eventually Carl McWilliams became like family. For the sake of her children, their mother, who we will call Sarah, asked that we not reveal her identity.
Carl was a very personable man. He was friendly. He got along beautifully with my children. They adored him. He was to me like the perfect father figure for my children.
The fact was, Carl McWilliams was a convicted child molester. He had spent 6 years in prison for molesting his 8-year-old daughter. One day, Sarah came home from work early to find Carl McWilliams had become her worst nightmare. He was allegedly locked in a bedroom with her young daughter.
He opened the door and he was as pale as a ghost, and he had broken out into a real cold sweat. And even till this day, it's something so vile that I could never even put a handle on it. I couldn't imagine someone doing that to a 5-year-old child.
Sarah and her children moved away from the area. And for 7 years, she anguished about whether to report the incident to police.
I felt that if I exposed them to the police and agencies, that it would be worse for the girls. And I felt it was better for me as their mother to try to handle it.
Finally, Sarah realized the police needed to know about McWilliams' behavior. Authorities found Carl McWilliams living with another woman and her children just 2 miles from the neighborhood Sarah and her children had fled. Carl McWilliams was ordered to leave the house and relocated to a nearby motel, but police investigated the allegations against him.
He stayed there one night and checked out the next morning. And it's the last indication of any specific location that we knew he possibly could have been.
Carl McWilliams has been charged with rape, statutory rape, aggravated indecent assault, and indecent assault. He is most likely working in the logging industry in the United States or Canada.
Has on occasion changed his appearance. He's changed his hairstyle. He's changed his glasses style, or maybe lost a little weight, gained a little weight. It wouldn't surprise me right now if he is somewhere living with another woman who has little girls, because that's what he does.
I think it's important that he's caught so that he doesn't have the opportunity to do this to other children. No one has that right to violate a child like that.
Join for the next fascinating edition of Unsolved Mysteries.
Big games, big finales, big relief. Get 100 plus channels of live sports, movies, and TV in one place. YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
With irresistibly smooth melting chocolate in every window, you can melt into every holiday
Wife Terry, founder of a spiritual movement known as Conscious Development of Body, Mind, and Soul. Today, Terry Hoffman is alone at the center of what some might call a circle of death. Among the victims, Mary Levinson, drug overdose. David and Glenda Goodman, shot to death, probable double suicide. Jill Bonds, bludgeoned to death. Sandy Cleaver drove off a cliff in broad daylight. Sandy's 14-year-old daughter, Deborah, drowned. 11 untimely deaths. 11 people with a direct or indirect link to Terry Hoffman. Now, some believe a 12th name should be added to this somber list. Charles Southern Jr., a respected English professor. Southern mysteriously disappeared more than 7 years ago, and his family believes it may be no coincidence that he was a disciple of Terry Hoffman.
Call upon your master. Visualize him.
Peace, harmony, enlightenment. Terry Hoffman offered all this and more to Charles Southern and the many others who joined her group, Conscious Development.
Lord of the fifth plane, to guide you at this time.
Part of the belief system Terry taught us was that death was really just another state of consciousness. And it wasn't a bad thing, it was anything like fear.
Peter Muth belonged to Hoffman's sect for more than a decade.
What up, three viewers?
The dark forces out there in the universe had a name. Black Lords, Black Lords. They worked for Satan.
Fight those dark lords and behind.
The group we worked with the White Brotherhood, are good, benevolent characters. They're on God's side, good guys. And we worked with them to combat the dark forces.
Terry Hoffman cultivated followers around the country. Among those who joined the Chicago branch of Conscious Development was Charles Southern Jr. Southern was assistant chairman of the English department at the local junior college. Joining Hoffman's group was his most recent foray in an ongoing search for spiritual truth, an odyssey that had taken Charles Southern as far away from home as India and Africa.
Charles was very interested in Eastern religions and various religions. In fact, he studied all the different religions that he could. And that was his curiosity. I think it got him in trouble.
My feeling is that his interest in Terry was he felt the power there, and that was real to him. The fact that this power might not necessarily have a good will or not, that was sort of irrelevant to him.
Relax. Charles rose quickly to a position of influence in Terry Hoffman's organization, teaching classes, leading meditation sessions. Eventually, he was invited to her home in Dallas.
The darkness of the Lord comes and he is bright and he is evil.
By then, Terry Hoffman began to portray herself as a target of attack by the so-called Black Lords. During special meditation sessions, Hoffman exhorted her trusted inner circle to erect, quote, a psychic shield around her. Peter Muth says he saw Charles at one of these meetings.
Continues. I just met him briefly. The reason it sticks in my mind is he came as a visitor to one of these closed meetings at Terry's house, where she's having psychic surgery to repair damage to her done by the Black Lords who've been attacking her.
The intertwining of light and dark.
I felt that if Charles or any of us who are in that room, Terry's
What up, 4 viewers? 3 viewers on YouTube.
Charles Sutton was apparently one of those who buckled under the pressure.
We found Charles wandering on the street carrying a newspaper stating, "I lived for art." We got him in the car and took him to Michael Reese Hospital for examination, stating that he might be suicidal, and he also seemed to be reciting something in strange language over and over and over again.
During Charles's recovery, his mother visited every day. So did 2 members of Hoffman's sect.
I'm feeling much better, much better. This is my mother.
And later, I was to find out from my mother, who stayed with my brother during the whole 5 days, that whenever she was there at the hospital and they came, she was asked to leave the room and stay out.
Upon his release, Charles resumed his normal activities. He remained active in Hoffman's group, though friends say he eventually became disillusioned with Hoffman herself. As 1987 drew to a close, Charles made arrangements for a trip to India during the Christmas break.
No one's talking to
Charles
me.
talked to his family several times in the days before his scheduled departure. His mother believed something was very wrong.
Mother. Yes. No, I'm fine.
I told him that I was disturbed, and I felt that I should come to Chicago. And he said, no, he said, you don't need to come to Chicago because I'm perfectly all right. And I would be leaving to India in 3 days. So he assured me that everything was all right. And with that assurance, I didn't go.
It was the last time Mrs. Southern spoke to her son. 2 weeks passed.
We, of course, wondered why we didn't hear from him, but he had traveled so much and so often to so many parts of the world. I wasn't overly concerned until he was overdue.
Charles's parents Dr. Charles Miller. At the time he vanished, Hoffman assured his family that she had no idea what had happened. Next, if you're young, attractive, and female, look out for a man named Jonathan Kern. He may be out to steal more than your heart. In the high-octane world of Formula One politics, danger and destruction may lurk around any curve. Those who emerge triumphant can win fame, fortune, and a kind of adoration usually reserved for rock stars and royalty. Big-time racing has spawned its own special breed of criminal. Case in point, alleged conman Jonathan Kern. He had reportedly made a career impersonating a noted Formula One racer named Jonathan Palmer. The real Jonathan Palmer was a medical doctor before he became a world champion driver. He is all too familiar with Jonathan Kern.
He is most at home wearing the softy clothes.
I gotta take a piss. I'll be right back.
Driving Mercedes-Benz full time by gorgeous women. And as he cannot do that through genuine earning, he resorts to fraud to achieve his desired lifestyle.
Bobby, I'm just one of those super friendly top owners. Excuse me, did I hear you say you're the owner? I'm starting to get a sweat buttons. It's you, but the man of the one's supposed to ask him. That hasn't been true for 30 years. Years. It's good. New Friday, you didn't see anything.
Beginning in 1989, Kern reported a crisscross Europe, racking up bills for designer clothes, elegant restaurants.
All right, I'm gonna end this one, but I'll be back shortly.
The joy of whole room freshness. Glade Plug-in Scented Oil Fan.
All around you, you don't even know it.
It's the only freshener to use a continuous built-in fan.
It's just there in the air.
Unlike some fresheners that seem strong just around the outlet, the Glade fan continuously circulates fragrance throughout your whole room.
This shit'll blow your motherfucking mind. Magic everywhere in this bitch.
Plug-in Scented Oil Fan from Glade. The
pure motherfucking magic
of fragrance.